Every single day, billions of us are on the internet. We're shopping, we're browsing, we're connecting, and honestly, we never give it a second thought. But have you ever just stopped and wondered why it all works? It isn't magic, not at all. It's actually a hidden set of rules, this invisible architecture that keeps our entire digital world from just falling apart. And that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're pulling back the curtain to see exactly what those rules are.
So here's our game plan. We'll start in the chaotic early days of the web, the real Wild West. Then we'll see how a universal language started to bring some order. After that, we'll dig into how that chaos was finally tamed with a set of guiding rules. And finally, we'll see how that big idea created the single, unified web we all use across every single one of our devices today.
Okay, so first up, let's dive into a bit of a mystery. To really get it, we need to picture the early internet. It was basically a digital Wild West, just bursting with potential for sure, but also teetering on the very edge of total, absolute chaos.
I mean, really think about it for a second. The website you might be looking at right now on your laptop, it also works perfectly on your phone and your tablet, and maybe even that little screen in your car's dashboard. How is that even possible? Why doesn't it all just break? This seamless experience is something of a modern miracle that we completely, 100% take for granted.
And the scale of this technical challenge is it's staggering. We're not just talking about phones and laptops. The very same web code has to work on car dashboards, smart speakers, and even really complex medical equipment. Every single one of those has a different screen size, a different operating system, a different brain, basically. So making one thing work flawlessly across that impossibly diverse ecosystem, now that is the real puzzle. So how in the world do you solve a problem that big? Well, you have to find some common ground. You need to create one single universal language that every device, no matter how different it is, can understand.
And that universal language? It's called a markup language. Now, this isn't a programming language like, say, Python. It's not doing complex math or anything. Its only job is to give a document structure. It's kind of like the blueprint that tells a web browser, hey, this part is a headline, or this is a paragraph, and go ahead and put an image right here. It is the absolute fundamental skeleton of every single web page you've ever seen. And the person we have to thank for that incredible blueprint is a British computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee. Back around 1990, he was working at the research center CERN, and he wasn't just building a new program. He was designing an entire system for sharing information all across the globe. He was literally inventing the World Wide Web.
His whole system was built on three core and frankly brilliant ideas. First, you had HTML, the hypertext markup language. That was going to be the skeleton for the pages. Second, HTTP, a protocol or a set of rules for sending those pages across the network. And third, a web browser, the actual tool people would use to see everything. That simple little trio was the foundation for everything that was about to come.
But as Berners-Lee's invention just exploded in popularity, that beautiful, elegant simplicity, it started to give way to digital chaos. Suddenly, everyone was building their own browsers and their own weird web features. The web was in very real danger of completely fracturing, and it was time for someone to step in and tame the chaos.
See, the problem was, without a common set of rules, a website built for one browser would look like a total broken mess in another. And this threatened the entire promise of the web, this idea of universal access. Can you imagine needing a different computer just to visit a different website? That's the future the web was heading for, just a collection of disconnected digital islands. A common rulebook wasn't just a nice idea, it was desperately needed.
Now this road to order, it didn't just happen overnight. The seeds were actually planted way back in the 60s with a U.S. military project called ARPANET. Then, of course, in 1990, Berners-Lee gives us the web itself. But the real turning point, the game changer, was 1994. He founded the World Wide Web Consortium, or the W3C, an organization with one job: create and maintain the common rules. And it was their work that eventually gave us powerful standards like HTML5, the very foundation of the modern web we all use today.
So what are these web standards we keep talking about? Well, you can think of them as the official rulebook for the internet. They're these detailed formal documents that tell every developer and every browser maker exactly how technologies like HTML are supposed to work. This is what ensures that when you build a website, it just works, predictably, for everyone, everywhere.
But here's the thing. These rules aren't just a bunch of dry, technical specifications. Nope. They're built on top of a really powerful philosophy, a core belief about what the web should be for all of humanity. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Right at the very heart of that philosophy is a promise, and it's captured perfectly in this quote from Berners-Lee and the W3C. The core idea is that the most precious feature of the web is that it will always be free for anyone to use. And free here doesn't just mean you don't have to pay for it, it means freedom to access, freedom to create, and freedom to connect.
This whole philosophy really boils down to three simple but incredibly powerful principles. First, it's free for anyone to use. Got it. Second, no patents. Now this is huge. It means no single company can own a critical piece of the web's core technology and stop others from using it or innovating on it. And third, no central control. This ensures that no single government or corporation can just decide to switch the web off or censor it. It's designed to be a cooperative open space.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. How does all this history, these standards, and this big philosophy result in that seamless web we use every single day? This is where we see that powerful idea of one web, every device really become a reality.
You see, the modern web is really a team sport, and it's governed by a whole suite of these W3C technologies. You've got HTML, building the structure, the skeleton. Then you have CSS, adding all the visual style and the layout, the close. And then there's JavaScript, which brings it all to life with action and interactivity. And because they all follow that same rulebook, they work together in perfect harmony on any browser.
And what's so cool is that these standards are the bedrock for all kinds of websites. They support a simple, static site like a restaurant's menu page that's exactly the same for everyone who visits, but they also power these incredibly complex dynamic sites. Think of a social media feed that's personalized just for you, or a news site that's updating in real time. The very same reliable rules make both of those things possible. And in the end, it all comes back to this one powerful mission from the W3C. Web for all, web on everything. It's such a simple phrase, but it has this profound goal: to make sure the web is accessible to every single person, no matter what hardware they have, what software they use, their language, or their ability. These invisible rules are what make that mission a reality.
So the next time you switch from your laptop to your phone without even a tiny glitch, you'll know. It's not magic. It's the result of decades of collaboration and this deeply held shared belief in an open, standardized web. But you know, as our world fills up with AI, virtual reality, and a trillion connected devices, it leaves us with a pretty big question. What new rules of the road will the future of the web need to thrive?